I want to fly all the way from Lagos, get a ticket, and just see these guys play again.
Really, I think let's see how it goes. We're still, this is the 1st of November. At least they have like 30 more days to gather a lot of players into this one. So for me, I think the footballers, they should not even think about it. This is supposed to be like
no-brainer, right?
It's a no-brainer.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
December 14th is on a Thursday. If I'm given time off here, I can just go there.
Yeah, that's very unlikely.
Come on. Okay, now let's talk, still talking African football. You know, the World Cup qualifier, we know Nigeria have qualified, but then we still have a game to play. That's against Algeria. So they have the list now. Ty described that as killer squad, right?
No, I don't like that. It's not a killer squad. But I mean, it's a strong Warriors squad that they've released. Rabah Maja, the new coach of Algeria. So I'm just going to ask you, Chidebere, I mean, are you surprised that Rabah Maja is basically listed as best players for a game that is inconsequential in terms of qualifying for the World Cup?
Well,
it's his first competitive game, and then, of course, it's a building platform for him. He wants to start on a good note. And also, I think, just like the Nigerians, the Algerians are not looking at this as, you know, it's not
as inconsequential. They're not.
They're not, because they're probably going to look at it as friendly that they need to build. After all, the African Nations Cup qualifiers is coming up. It's a good one, so let's count it as playing 2 friendlies. We're going to play Algeria. So I think for Rabah Maja, he wants to, you know, start on a good note. The players want to represent themselves for him. Considering the fact that they have really not just let the former coaches down or let themselves down. They were quite disappointing in the qualifier. So I think the squad he has named is, of course, what Algeria have and what they should, in good note, be putting out to the world. So I think it's a good one. And we will get a quality competition. So I think it's also...
So that's even good for Nigeria.
Yeah, it's good for Nigeria. It will mean that we're not just going to just go and run around the pitch.
Playing stiff opposition.
Stiff opposition that's going to test what we are about.
Right. So that list includes...
Riyad Mahrez, Islam Slimani,
Nabil Bentaleb. I mean, you can go on Berani. I mean, it's a crack squad.
Then you have Yassin Bahim.
Yassin,
he's also there. I mean, when you just look at the squad and you're wondering, okay, these players have been playing. I mean, they've lost 4 games out of their last 5 qualifiers, and this is the 6th one. They just want to end it on a high. And when you remember this game, how Nigeria just spanked them and after the team, they were not even there at all. I mean,
they've underperformed, and they will need to. I mean, so they will want to. I mean, you know, even if just for pride's sake.
For pride's sake, and I think the Algerian FA, they should hold on to the trigger. The way they, you know, fire coaches.
Oh, how many coaches have they had?
3 throughout the qualifiers.
Wow.
So it's not a good one for a national team. By the time, of course, they are not seen every day.
Rayovac actually resigned, right? He wasn't, he was going to be fired, right? Maybe he saw the handwriting on the wall.
Changing managers is not good for you. As soon as the players are about to get used to the new manager, he's gone.
But when they're not having results, when results are not coming your way, and there are some managers, when they can't see results, they just want to leave.
There are 6 games in a qualifying series, and so there's only so much you can do.
Your message now to the Algerian Football Federation is they've got to stick by Rabah Maja. I mean,
hold it, and allow him to even if
what if they lose by as much as 4-0 at home?
I don't think that is going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. There's nothing lying on this one. They are not going to hold back to defend, or neither will the Nigerians. So it's built for an interesting game. But I think they should allow Rabah Maja, whatever happens, even in the African qualifying series, I think they should... Let's see what he has. Yes, he was a fantastic football player. We see what Zinedine Zidane is doing. Let's see what he can do as a manager.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, after Nigeria against Algeria on November the 10th, the Algerians will take on CAR, that's the Central African Republic, 4 days later. So it's all about building, like I said. Before we leave the World Cup qualifier, the list for Nigeria came out yesterday, and day before yesterday, I beg your pardon, and your take on that one, quickly.
I think Including Henry Nkuru is a good one, but I don't see the reason for the young Deportivo goalkeeper. I think it's too, as much as we want to get them young and get them into the national team, I still think we should have allowed him to better establish himself. We have goalkeepers who can prosecute the job, and the fact that General keeps hammering on the return of Vincent Inyama, I don't know where the young man is going to fit into. So for me, a good list. Let's see what some other people can do without Elder Sinichejile.
Okay, let me just one more on that goalkeeping situation. It's Francis Uzoho, who plays for Deportivo in the Segunda Division, in for Dele Alampasi. So we can see there's a bit of it's quite instructive, because Dele Alampasi, you'd say, is the young star in that department that is learning. Now he's taking him out and he's gone for this young star, another young star in Francis Uzoho, who is decent.
I think considering that Francis Uzoho is in the La Liga, and this lad is probably in the 3rd division, Alampasu, in the Portuguese league, you can compare their experiences, and he's actually been doing well. That's talking about Uzoho. So, but removing a young player for another young player can be discouraging. But then again, you can consider the fact that you want to get this guy into the national team quick enough, acclimatize with the players, get him to become, you know, the kind of player you want him to be. But like I said, getting him in, and then, of course, what is going to happen when eventually Vincent Inyama gets back into the national team.
You think that's what we're going?
I think we are heading there.
Okay.
Oh my!
Because I just see, I don't know. Well, I understand what you're trying to say. I mean, you have 2 youngsters, you're dropping one for the other. Well, I would have felt, okay, why not just go with 4 goalkeepers? I mean, because of the game. No, I'm talking about because of the game against Argentina, not other friendly matches.
You have to consider cost. Very soon, the NFF will say there's no money. So,
oh goodness!
The sponsors, right?
Yeah,
the sponsors, right? Because sponsors, right?
Yeah, we got sponsors, but
okay. And we know the money will start rolling in.
But usually it's 3 goalkeepers.
Yeah, 3 goalkeepers.
I think you can drop the players, just take 4 and see if you can use the 2 of them against Argentina. Don't use your big boys. Go for a break. We'll come back, we'll be talking about the UEFA Champions League.